So guys, this is now our new chapter of things. Let's see what will happen here. So now we are at Ju Kyung place. Things are not working well for him from what we can see. He's trying to train, maybe to relieve some stress. He seems to be pissed off. And from his face, this doesn't look good. No, this is just work for me. So he's remembering what Kim Dan told him. I'm just a tool you go to when you are in the mood. That's how you have always treated me. So he kept on recalling what Kim Dan was saying. This is him now. If someone were to be in front of him, the person will suffer. Just thinking about that day makes my blood boil. Wow. But no matter what he says, I'm still bringing Kim Dan back with me. So what Kim Dan thinks, what he feels doesn't matter. I will be making my comeback soon. The only thing that matters to him is for him to succeed with his comeback. If I want to compete at the same level as before, I need Kim Dan. At least he knows that he needs Kim Dan. Without Kim Dan, he cannot make it. I have got to stick to my old routine if I want to keep my competitive edge. In the end, it all comes down to my jinx. So Ju Kyung kept on thinking, there is no other reason. So his mind also traveled again to Kim Dan with his lips bruises. The way things are now, he will just continue to avoid me. So finally he finished working out. He's taking off his gloves. In that case, so he's like Kim Dan will continue to avoid him. In that case, we can see him now going back to the hospice. I'm here for a visit. So Ju Kyung, the scene changed. Well, if it isn't Mr. Joe, so he wants to see Kim Dan's grandma. Is he going to use her to get Kim Dan to sew? I will just have to get to him through Granny. Ju Kyung, this is not school. Hello? He's talking to the grandma. Where are you going? Asking the grandmother. I'm just going to take her for a stroll around the hospital. Said the nurse. It's a bit stuffy in here, the nurse replied. And Ju Kyung is just like, I can't take her. The nurse is like, what? Are you serious, Dan? If it's not too much trouble. My goodness, am I really going with Mr. Joel? That is the grandma being excited. Since he's going with Ju Kyung. So the scene again shifted. Mr. Joe strolling with the grandmother, and the grandmother break the silence. It's nice. It's a nice little town, isn't it? Trying to have a conversation with Ju Kyung. This is where I grew up, but you are from Seoul, so you probably don't see what the food is about. That's his grandma explaining. And Ju Kyung is just like, no, eat nice here. And the grandma is adding, I heard you came here to recuperate. How are you feeling? Are you all better now? The grandma is trying to see if she can get anything from Ju Kyung. Now that I think about it, I have been doing a lot better since I got here. I have been sleeping well too. Ju Kyung thinking, he's not saying it out loud. So now he finally replied to the grandmother, almost a new granny. He's having conversation with the grandma. You know me, I'm the same as always. But how lucky am I to be going for a stroll with the famous Ju Kyung? So the grandma, she's flattered. I heard you are a boxer. The old man next door told me all about it. You are amazing, really. So the grandma is complimenting him. But what was it about Dan that made you want to work with him? So she's trying to know the relationship between Jo Jae-kyung and his grandson Kim Dan. Is he that good? So Jo Jae-kyung kept on thinking of those scenes, those adult scenes, and he's just like, that scared me. That's his way of base. He cannot explain that to the grandmother. I would say he's pretty good at his job. And the grandma is just like, I'm glad that he's good at the job, but I can tell you how grateful I am to you. So the grandma is grateful to Jo Jae-kyung. Why? You kept a roof over his head, gave him a paycheck. Grandma, you don't know the sacrifices. I feel both so grateful and regretful. So that is grandma confessing to Jo Jae-kyung. Dan has never brought anyone to me before. Kim Dan has never brought anyone to the grandmother. And Jo Jae-kyung is also like, really? Sure, hasn't. He's never introduced me to any of his friends. You are the first. So, the grandmother, she's so talkative. That's why I see you almost like another grandson. Well, she's even getting closer to him, touching Jo Jae-kyung's hand. You will take good care of Dan, won't you? So the grandma is quite like asking him to take good care of Kim Dan when she's not around anymore. My Dan, just the thought of him makes my heart aches. I regret not giving him an easier life. So that is now the grandma. As a long time ago, when Dan first started talking, he called me Mom. So the grandma kept on talking about it. She's recalling when Kim Dan was a little boy. He grew up without a mom and dad. My heart just breaks for him. I tried my best to raise him, but it was never enough. This is her now. Again, Kim Dan. When Kim Dan was little, she was already old. And then one day, he just grew up. He stopped fussing and became an adult far too quickly. So Jo Jae-kyung is mostly like, why is she telling me that? Dan is a sweet boy, so he almost never gave me trouble. Oh, but he did start hitting the bottle pretty hard a few years back. So talking about Kim Dan drinking, apparently she's aware of that, and he picked up smoking. Eh? Even me, I'm surprised. Jo Jae-kyung is surprised, like he smokes? That's right, he was a heavy smoker. Even though I kept nagging him about how it's bad for his health, he just wouldn't quit. So Jo Jae-kyung is imagining Kim Dan. Does he still smoke? The grandma is asking Jo Jae-kyung. But Jo Jae-kyung is just thinking, I just can't picture it. He cannot picture Kim Dan smoking. But he's just like reply to grandma that he doesn't think that Kim Dan still smoking. That's good. I just want Dan to look after himself instead of worrying about little old me. The grandmother, she's gushy, she's talking. After all, I don't have much time left. Jo Jae-kyung is looking the grandmother seriously. I told him I wanted to see the ocean, but I never imagined he would end up settling down here. At least the grandmother is telling him the reason why Kim Dan came at that countryside. I really don't know what that boy plans to do with his life. You are here because you care about Dan, don't you? I'm saying this because I trust you, grandmother. How can you trust Jo Jae-kyung? I want you to take Dan back to Seoul with you, grandmother. Don't do that. And Jo Jae-kyung is just like, what? Dan is only living here for my sake. I'm sure he has tons of things he wants to accomplish, so he should go to Seoul and live his best life. The grandmother trying to convince Jo Jae-kyung to take him down to Seoul, but that was Jo Jae-kyung's initial plans, and his condition has been a bit off lately. Thinking of Kim Dan, tired, sickly. I think he's having trouble sleeping. And Jojikun is just listening quietly. I saw on TV that taking medicine can help, but he refuses to see a doctor. So Jojikun is asking since when he's not sleeping and he's not feeling well. And the grandma is just like, it's been a while. Out here in the country, the hospitals aren't the best. So he will need to go to a major one in Seoul. So the grandmother is quite worried for Kim Dan. I will go when my time comes. Just like, I will maybe, my life will finish when the time is here. But Dan has to live his life. At this rate, he will kick the bucket first. Wow. Jojikun is looking at the grandmother seriously now. He's not talking. He's just too quiet. It's already nighttime. We are back at Jojikin's place. His condition is off, huh? Jojikun on his bed is thinking of his conversation with the grandmother. Is that why he's been so on edge lately? He's trying to excuse what? To find some excuses to why Kim Dan was acting the way he was acting. I'm pretty sure he wasn't always like this. So thinking of Kim Dan when Kim Dan was at his place. At the same time, we can hear a roof is like a radio. And Jojikun just stood up. I think this is the dog. The dog is barking. Kim Dan is sleepwalking again. Jojikun is just looking at him walking. And he's just like, what the? He's not even wearing shoes. Hey, where are you going at this hour? The dog is trying to stop him. Jojikun is just following, asking where Kim Dan is going. And the dog seems to be really sad. Kim Dan is not reacting, and Jojikun is not eating. I don't know. Have you been drinking? So I don't think he knows that Kim Dan is sleepwalking. So he's like touching his shoulder, pulling him back. Hey, I ask you a question. Where are you going? You boy, be gentle sometimes. Of course, when he pulled Kim Dan, he can see Kim Dan falls back into his arms. Now he realized that Kim Dan is sleeping. He just let him. He fell down. They are all on the floor. Kim Dan is sleeping, deeply sleeping. He suddenly fell asleep. No, he was sleeping from the beginning. And the old man came out of his house. He's just like, what is going on? Jiking? He's not calling him Jojikun. Of course, he called him Jiking. Oh dear. Did Dan wander outside again? And Jojikun is just like, why? What? Well, he's carrying Kim Dan on his shoulder. Every night, Dan slips out like he is in trance. So the old man is explaining, maybe it's all the alcohol he's drinking, but even when I try to stop him, he just doesn't seem to hear me. It's really strange. I thought he was possessed at first. The old man is adding, why don't you bring him in and lay him down? So the old man, the subject seemed to take him down in the house. Now this is maybe Kim Dan's place. Yeah, this is Kim Dan's place. Looks like he's had quite a lot to drink. There are even more bottles now. So looking just at the house, Kim Dan has been drinking. And Jojikun is surprised to see that. They didn't even care. How long has this been going on? Jojikun was asking the old man, and the old man replied, not long after he got here. I think, but it seems to be getting worse. I'm afraid one of these days he might end up drowning himself in the ocean. That might happen. Sometimes he will wander outside several nights throughout the night. Sometimes he will wander outside several times throughout the night. I'd better keep an eye on him today, so maybe he will spend the night there. Dude, can you spend the night there? And now he saw the picture grandmother and Kim Dan. He's looking at Kim Dan again. Hey, Grumps, I will let him sleep in my room tonight. So he's taking Kim Dan to his place